Hello boys and girls, welcome to Mrs. Bandu's Math Movies. This is lesson 810 for course 2, volumes of prisms and cylinders. And that's our objective, to find volumes of prisms and cylinders. Okay, so let's look at first just our formulas here. The volume of a rectangular prism is equal to the area of its base times the height of the prism. So the area of the base in a formula is often denoted by capital B times H for height. In a case like this, we could also write length times width times height. Volume of a triangular prism is the area of its base times the height of the prism. So you're going to have to remember to figure out the base of a triangle, the area of a triangle. It's 1/2 times base times height, the base and height of that triangular base. The height, this height is different than the height in the triangle, usually. Okay, so you want to be careful about that, and we will talk about that as we work through them in more detail. The volume of a cylinder, again, is the area of its base, which is a circle, times the height of that cylinder. B for the area of the base is going to be pi r squared. Pi r squared. H is another way to think of the volume of a cylinder. Now, the volume of a three-dimensional figure is the number of cubic units needed to fill the space inside the figure. Okay, so this time instead of drawing squares or thinking about little squares on a grid, we're actually thinking about three-dimensional items. How many three-dimensional cubes, three-dimensional square units, okay, can we fit in there? A cubic unit is a cube with edges that are 1 unit long. Okay. So let's look at an example here. Finding the volume of a rectangular prism. Volume is length times width times height, or the area of the base times the height. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so when I look at this, the base is a square whose dimensions are 12 and 8. So I'm going to do a rectangle, it's not a square. And then the height is 10. So 12 times 8 times 10 is 960. The volume of the rectangular prism is 960 cubic centimeters. Okay, that one's pretty straightforward usually. Okay, here's the volume of the triangular prism, and this is the one we have to be a little careful about in looking at the pieces that we need. Okay, so the area of the base times the height is the formula. Okay, so first of all, we need to figure out what B is. This is what we want to do right here. And the base is a triangle whose base and height are 7.5 and 10. So basically you're going to do 0.5 times 7.5 times 10 and get 37.5 square inches is the area of that. So we're going to put in 37.5. The H here is actually 10, the height, the distance between the bases, that perpendicular distance between the bases. So we're going to then multiply that by 10. You should be able to do that in your head and get 357. So the volume of the triangular prism is 300, I think I said 57 I transpose that, it's 375 cubic inches. 375. Okay. And finally we have cylinder. A glass is 7.4 centimeters tall. The base of the glass has a diameter of 2.2 centimeters. Estimate the volume that the glass can hold if it's filled to the top, and then find the volume to the nearest cubic unit that the glass can hold if it is filled to the top. Okay, so the volume is the area of the base, which is pi r squared, times the height. Now, this is diameter, so remember our radius is 1.1. You have to figure that out for yourself. So this is going to be pi times 1.1 squared times 7.4. Oh, and I've done it again. And I did this when I was working this out the first time. We want to use 3 as our estimate for pi. So let's put in 3 there, and 4 to estimate. So 3.3 times 1.1 is 3.63. So now I'm going to make that 4 times 7.4. So I'm just simplifying a little bit to 4. And so this comes out to be about 29.6. Okay. The estimated volume is about 30 cubic centimeters to the nearest centimeter. Okay. The calculated volume is pi times 1.1 squared times 7.4. And that gives me 28.1298 and so on. So that gives me a volume of about 28 cubic centimeters. That's reasonable because the estimated volume was about 30 cubic centimeters. My computed volume or calculated volume is 28 cubic centimeters. Reasonable. Okay, so if you'd complete the 3 quick checks, bring in any questions, and we'll be seeing each other soon. Goodbye.